All right, took some time off work, went up to Savannah with a bunch of friends, got some Airbnb, shot a match. Let's see how it went. Okay, so stage one starts with a stage gun grenade launcher, firing chalk rounds. I missed this one. If you got a hit, then you only had to not take your first rifle shot on that same target. Not a huge difference, and I thought that was a good implementation of a stage gun with a minor benefit, but not something too game-changing that it was probably going to affect the match too much. From here, you have a whole bunch of positional rifle shots. I think the key to success on this stage was just being able to efficiently get into and out of different rifle ports. You didn't have to, shove your whole rifle through there, so don't. And then you ran around the corner and shot some surprisingly spicy pistol. Pretty small targets, pretty far away. Actually, the very furthest target I genuinely could not see through the tint on my red dot. It was just, awkward lighting in the morning, so on and so forth. Stage went well, or at least well enough. Good first stage.
Unload right there, slide 4, pull trigger. I asked for a sub 60.
What was it? What was it?
You should have asked for sub 50.
Wow. 59, 70.
All right, stage two starts with a standing plate rack. The plate rack's not too far away, 50, probably 75 yards, not quite 100. And I think the targets are like 6 inches, so they aren't too bad, so pretty doable. I got real excited there and cranked off 5 rounds of the first target. This was one of my favorite stages of the match just because I like moving and shooting with the rifles. Always a lot of fun. Anyway, you go sprint up to the front. If you look off to the left, you can actually kind of see the rifle targets I was shooting at in the beginning here. And you shoot a forest of 22 pistol targets. And if you didn't miss, you didn't have to reload. But as soon as you got 2 or 3 misses, you had to reload. So that's all right. Stage went well. I had fun. One of my favorites of the match.
Nice.
Stage 3 starts with a stage gun Uzi. I actually got the only penalty of the match there because I didn't hit the target twice with a little burst. But in my defense, I don't practice shooting full auto very much, and you could only shoot it full auto. Didn't let you set it to semi. This stage was by far my worst placement of the match, and that's just because it was 2 spinners here, and I did okay on them, but the people who did really well on this stage missed a few less times. That always helps, but they were also they planned ahead. They took ammo that was really high power factor, some really hot ammo, and that really helped them on these spinners. So I think one thing I'd do differently to dramatically do better next year would be take some hot ammo just for those times when you're shooting a spinner. Stage 4 was my second favorite stage in the match, also because it has running rifle. I choose to butt open this door or to knock open the door there with the muzzle of my rifle rather than with hands or feet, because frankly, it's safer for you and it's just less likely to result in an accident or a DQ if you just use the muzzle of your rifle to jam that thing open. With some creative leaning at the end here, you could actually shoot all of the pistol from what amounts to basically one extended position instead of running around, so efficiency of movement, you should do that. Stage 5 here is the first use of a marathon target, which are these dummies on top of robots that they used a lot in this match. You had to shoot one of those that was charging you before it got to a certain point, and then shoot a spinner at a little bit further out. This was the 3rd spinner of the match. This match had, frankly, a lot of spinners, and again, knowing that what I know now, in addition to just getting better hits, it really would have helped me if I had brought some hot ammo to really knock this stuff around. Then you run around the corner, you have to get some shots on some more marathon targets. I'll talk about the marathon targets more in a few stages where I have a little bit more time, but long story short, although they're a fun novelty, I think they shouldn't be used in competitions. Yeah, they just shouldn't. All right, as I mentioned, by the way, the reason you see me sometimes dropping a bag right off the beep is that you were supposed to carry your equipment with you at the start of every stage. I didn't end up doing that. I'll talk more about that later. Anyway, this one, start with some pistol, a little bit of a forest of steel, run back to rifle. This was my best finish of the match, at 7th on this stage. However, definitely still had some time on the table, some inefficient movement decisions there, and just some hesitation on my part on some of the pistol parts. But anyway, stage went well. All right, long range stage. You start on a Barrett for a no penalty or shot. You just kind of shoot it for fun. You have to go run and grab your ammo, then load up your firearm, load up your rifle, and shoot a bunch. You had the option to shoot a bonus target that eliminated 6 stationary targets, and then you had to shoot a bunch of moving targets. I was one of very few people in the match who got the bonus target. It was like 525 yards there, and the ROs were genuinely surprised that anyone hit it, much less me. All right, so after that, you're shooting. You can't really see it too well on a cell phone video, so I'm just going to talk over a lot of this stage. You're shooting a whole bunch of moving targets at around 400 to 100 yards. If you squint or blow up the video or lie to yourself, you can probably see some of them moving down there. Kind of challenging. You're shooting more of these marathon targets, and I'll choose this opportunity to talk about, like, this is another stage that I don't think was good for competition because the marathon targets seem to be set to activate each other based off of a hit that you got on a previous target. It wasn't really clear. It was not explained. I'll probably end up talking more about it later, but long story short, these targets, no one could explain where or when they would actually go down, what kind of hit was required, what was a scoring versus non-scoring hit on these things. They were not consistent from shooter to shooter. There's a lot of complaints about these targets. I just don't think they were good for competition. Super quick last stage here. You start on an unstable, wobbly platform that's supposed to be a helicopter, and you shoot like 8 targets. Super fast stage. Pretty fun. I just contorted myself well enough to get the hits and did pretty well. All right, so this will probably take a minute or two. Video's over. Just to do some closing thoughts out there. So this match is really great. It's well run. It's a lot of fun. It's a pretty cheap entry fee. And there's a fun theme around having the Rangers and the Sua Sponte Foundation being the beneficiary of the match. The theme some of the stages with, shooting of a Blackhawk or the great stage guns. And it's run by people who know a lot about what they're doing. They run a pretty good match. So range was easy and good to get to and navigate around. Everything flowed very well. There was a ton of staff there to make things run great. And these are all things that make it a big plus in my book. Also, you did all your shooting over one day, which is a really busy, long day of shooting, a ton of shooting for your money. Those are all things that I think make it really great. The prizes weren't great. It was mostly just random draw in your prize bag. Some people got some better stuff than others. It was fine. I didn't really care about the prizes. That's not why I was going. Some people do care about that. If you're used to shooting like some major matches, like Hornady Zombie match usually has a really great prize table, for example. Held around the same time of the year. If you're making a decision around one or the other, maybe that'll impact you or not. But I thought it was great, so I would still recommend doing it. The marathon targets, those moving targets that are like mannequins on top of robots, they kind of suck. I think that they are marginally inaccurate, so I think they inaccurately detect shots, or they inaccurately call a hit a miss, or they inaccurately call a miss a hit, or they I kind of grilled the reps on how they work, the representatives from the company doing this. I kind of grilled them about how they work, and frankly, I did not get good answers back from them that indicated that those guys even understood how the targets work, because they kind of changed their answers saying that it was microphone or sound based, or maybe it was the bullets had to contact part of the torso, or no, you could shoot through a giant hole in the middle of the torso. Even if the thing was completely shot out, it would still detect the shots, so it's back to being microphone based. But how does a microphone accurately detect a subsonic bullet passing through or around an area, as opposed to being 1 millimeter off in a non-score? Like it's super inconsistent. The shooters intentionally weren't ever told where you had to shoot it, or what counted as a hit, or how many times you had to shoot a certain target. Some of them you had to shoot multiple times. Others ones, sometimes people racked up 8 hits on a target that I think you only had to hit 6 times. The targets are slow to respond. Lots of reasons why those targets suck. I totally get why the match designers like them from there's no reset, and it's a novelty of to have a moving target. That's really rare. You don't see that very often. So it's something that differentiates your match, and I totally respect that. But still, the marathon targets suck. We had more than one person in our squad literally just walked out after shooting the first stage that we had marathons. He was pissed off and just said, literally, fuck this place, fuck those targets, I'm out. And a few other of our people were willing to stick through it and kind of just accept that this is part of the match and they're out there to have fun. But they were like, yeah, these things are bad. So I've said what I said need to say there. you've been warned. If they continue to use them, I guess, factor that into your decision to shoot the match or not. Another thing I mentioned, the range location was great. This is located just outside of Savannah, which is a major city with a lot going on. Some matches were held off, as a lot of shooters know, off in the middle of nowhere. You kind of got to bring your own fun as opposed to having a great town that you can have a lot of events, restaurants, and entertainment options for your time off of the range. Great match. Would totally do it again. Would try to get more people to go do it with me. I think that this is one worth going to. All right. Give your stick in the ice.
I move that everyone come to my apartment to snuggle my cat.
Second. I move that your cat stinks and is ugly. Second.
I move that we vote on a new chief executive officer and oust this old creep. And also that my cat smells good and is pretty.
Second.